Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hi everyone. Welcome to the first episode of my PURRR series. My name is Annie, but you could call me Hajia Annie. Yes, finally, the first episode of my post-Umrah reflections. I know you guys have been waiting for this video, waiting for the PURRR series, waiting to see what I'll be sharing in my PURRR series. So yeah, it's finally here. This is the first episode. And you guys, I received the most beautiful message, like the most beautiful message on Instagram, I think 3 days ago. It was so beautiful. I'm just gonna put it here so you guys can read it. It was just so beautiful. Take a minute to read it. Just so beautiful. I loved it, and may Allah reward her. May Allah reward her and her family and her husband. It was just so beautiful, and it just kind of melted my heart. And every dua that all of you have been making for my mother, may Allah send them all to her. May Allah just deliver it to her. Like, look at all these beautiful duas. Look at all these beautiful things people are saying to you, or and to you and for you and about you. So yeah, may Allah really accept all of our duas. And so yeah, in this episode I'm going to keep it very short and cute, because I just wanted to talk about Umrah prep and the journey. But before that, disclaimer. See, make nobody lie you. Disclaimer, make nobody lie you. You can never ever be prepared for Umrah, to be honest. If you like it, just read a ton of Umrah books, or a ton of Umrah hadith, watch a ton of Umrah videos, or reflections and whatnots. You could be like, okay, my God, I'm prepared, I'm gingered, whatever. You can never be prepared for that experience. It's just, you can prepare oh wow. But yeah, I feel like you can never be prepared for it. Umrah, Hajj, any trip, any kind of spiritual journey, or spiritual trip or pilgrimage or anything, I feel like you can never ever be prepared for it. You think, oh my God, I prepared for it, I've learned this dua, I've learned this, I've learned that, I've done this, I've done that. But see, make nobody lie you. And before I even go in talking about Umrah prep, I just wanted to just put this out there. You can never be prepared, but you could try and prepare. So that's what I did before I went for my Umrah. So let's get into the prep. So with my Umrah prep, what did I do? First of all, I went to Umrah with my community, with my masjid, which is the ICNYU, the Islamic Center at NYU. My heart and my soul. And so my prep and everything, I see, made it very easy for us, to be honest. And I would advise, personal advice to anyone who is thinking about Umrah or Hajj, or yeah, anyone that's thinking about Umrah or Hajj or any kind of pilgrimage. I would advise you go with a group. To be honest, it's always best to go with someone. It's either you're going with your husband or you're going with family, that's fine, but I feel like it's best when you always go with some companions, you than going alone. Going alone, I think, is going to be very emotionally and physically draining and overwhelming when you go alone. But when you go with someone, at least even if it's just one person, you have that backup, you have that companion that when things are getting overwhelming, you can share with them. You can you have a shoulder to lean on, and they also have a shoulder to lean on, and you guys, you help each other. So I went with my group, I went with my masjid, I went with my community, and it was perfect. And some of the things that we did before Umrah, the Umrah prep, I would say was the Umrah sessions that we had, pre-Umrah sessions that we had. So we had these halakas on these sessions that it was over Zoom, that we the leaders on the trip, we spoke with the leaders on the trip, we introduced ourselves, and we got to know each other via Zoom, or knowing each other online before we got to Medina, and then going on to Mecca. And it was great, to be honest. We were kind of it wasn't them actually prepping us oh my God, this is the PDF, or this is the cheat sheets, and that's it. It was just kind of them giving us it was a warm-up, I would say. Yeah, that's the right word. It was a warm-up. And then especially I think they did that, and they did that for and then there was a focus on women, especially, you know, women, we are beautifully complex, and we have lots and lots of restrictions, you know, our periods, our cycles, and all of that. So it was great to do all these Zoom preps that we spoke about, like the do's and don'ts about Umrah, and there were some duas that were shared, some handouts that were given to us first, like, you know, read about it to kind of like warm up mentally, physically, emotionally, like psychologically, even though like you can never be like fully prepared, but that warm up was very, very good for us. It was very, very great. Like I really appreciate that warm up. And like aside that, we also had like logistics prep, like, you know, what to have on that trip, like what you would need and all that, you know. You're going on a pilgrimage, so obviously like maybe clothing, some what's the name, clothing, not just what am I saying, yeah, clothings, toiletries, some meds, first aid, all these stuff. But we're so blessed on our trip, and our group, our community were so blessed because we had some doctors on the trip. So like, oh my god, you see how good ICNYU is? It's like the best community ever. We had some doctors. I get so excited talking about the IC, but yeah, we had some doctors on our trip. We had about like 4 doctors on the group, and it was so great. But then, you know, for like clothing and everything, you know, obviously you want to have like lots of abayas, lots of like loose clothing, your hijabs, jilbabs, niqabs, like your toiletries, your first aids, your clothing and everything. We did all of that. Like the best of that Umrah prep and that warm up that we did over the Zoom sessions were like, you know, the handouts that were given to us, and the handouts, the duas, you know, some chapters to learn how to recite, read, all of that. But the handouts were like the most important ones. I'm gonna put some links in my description so you guys can like just see some of the handouts and PDFs and everything. I'm gonna put the links there. You guys can save it for when you're ready and when Allah calls you for Umrah, inshallah. So that was like some of the prep that we did. And like personally, I would say aside the group prep that we did, I don't know what prep that other people did. Other people were still in school, and like we went on the trip when it was like spring break, or like I think when they came back from spring break, or like when they were still on spring break, because I remember some people were still in like school, like doing their classes and homeworks or whatever, but they had some kind of like break. So I was not in school. So for me, the only thing I did was like I was packed up 2 weeks before the trip, and that's just me. Like I love to pack. I was like packed up 2 weeks before the trip, like had everything together, like everything. The only thing I didn't have together was like some African foods that I was taking along. You guys know I love kinky. I love kinky. God, if you know me, you know I love kinky. God bless the inventor of kinky. If I discover the person that invented kinky, one day if I die, my will, let's just divide my will into 2 and give half to their family. To be honest, that's how much I love kinky. So that's the only thing that I did like last minute, was like my food. Like I took kinky. That's just me. I'm very, very picky, and like I can't eat anything that's not like my local foods. It's hard. Aside my local foods, all I eat is like, probably when I travel, is junk food, like pizza, burgers, chicken, and that's it. I can never try other people's local foods. I've tried. It's hard. Oh my god, it's hard. I pray that I come out of it, but I can never try anything, to be honest. It's bad. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's bad. So when I was going, I took some kinky with me. I took some soya pepper, I took some shito, I took some gari, some peanuts, some pig milk, and all of that, just to be on the safer side, just in case I don't find anything that I wanted to eat over there. And I did the same thing when I went to Jerusalem in 2020, and that's just me, which is bad, to be honest. It's bad. You guys learn to eat other people's food, learn to try other delicacies. It's good. Don't be like Annie. But yeah, that was like the only prep that I did, like getting packed up or being packed up 2 weeks before. And like, you know, food is very, very crucial. Food is crucial. So that was the only thing that I would say I prepped. Another prep was dua list. Making a dua list. To be honest, dua list, that is like the most important, like that's the most important thing about this whole trip, because you know you're going to see God himself. That's how I see going to like Makkah. That's how I see, that's how I view it. You're going to, it's like Allah is calling you, come and visit me, come and talk to me, come and tell me what you want. And that's how I felt. So like make a dua list, because I feel like once you get there, you're going to be so overwhelmed. You're like, and then like your mind, everything is going to be all over the place, and you don't know what to say or like what you're praying about. Like, make a dua list. Oh my God, make a dua list. I can't emphasize on this enough. I didn't really make a list, like a physical list, because everything was here. That's one thing about me. If it's here, it's here, and like no matter what it is there, it will come. And so far as like, I don't know, it's just me. To be honest, alhamdulillah for that. Alhamdulillah for this kind of like, what do you say? Is it that? It's not a talent. This kind of like memory. So that's just me. The only list I made was dua from like other people. So I took dua requests from Twitter. I took dua requests from my WhatsApp. I took dua requests from Instagram, and and Snapchat actually. So yeah, this was the only prep that I did. Other people were like very, very intensive about their prep, and that is very good, to be honest. So I'll say like Umrah prep aside, like I'll say number one, try as much as possible to go with like companions, or like go with a group. That is like super, super helpful. And like, you know, make all these like pre-Umrah sessions or halakas or all these like, you know, meetings to like, you know, warm up yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically before the actual trip. And so yeah, that's what I did, sort of. And like the journey itself, oh my God. So I flew Egypt Air. We're not going to talk about Egypt Air. We're not going to talk about Egypt Air. Egypt Air, you know, at least it took me where it was supposed to take me, but we're not going to talk about Egypt Air. But alhamdulillah, it was great. I was on the Egypt Air flight, which went to Cairo. That's like my dad's city. That's my dad's city. My dad lived and studied in Egypt for so many years. He went to the famous Al-Azhar University. Duh, PURRR, that's my daddy. I don't know where your dad went, but me, my father. You guys, I know you guys are tired of me. I'm talking about my dad, but yeah, he's the most beautiful person ever. Shout out to him. May Allah bless, and keep this man for me. May he keep him for me and my siblings for so long. May he see his grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren. May he live like the way my grandfathers lived. So all of my grandfathers lived for like, you know, over 100, and I pray for that for my dad. I love him so much. Like, I adore that man. And I'm diverting again, but yeah, Cairo is my dad's city. So I went, I was like, Dad, I went to your city. It was so beautiful. But so I did a layover over there before we moved from Cairo to Medina. Oh my God, the trip wasn't so smooth. It was hectic, to be honest. Like, the flight from New York to Cairo was very long and very hectic, and like turbulence, and it was, to be honest. But alhamdulillah, it took me where it was supposed to take me. And yeah, this is my little Umrah prep and like the journey. I'm going to get into my Medina experience in episode 2 of my PURRR series, inshallah. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of my PURRR series. Once again, my name is Annie Larry, but you could call me Hajia Annie. Assalamu alaikum, y'all.